Good morning, guys. Let's get started. Yeah, I hope you are able to see my screen, guys.
Yes, got it.
Yeah, thank you. So yesterday we started with a queue, and then we looked at queue, DQ, priority queue, linked blocking queue, queue operations, etc. Now let's quickly understand or rewind what we have learned. So can someone tell me what is a queue follows? What is the pattern that queue follow?
First in, first out.
First in, first out. So what are the methods which will provide the first in, first out feature? In queue, what is the method that we have which will give first in, first out?
Whole method.
Yeah. So poll method will delete the element from
Top head of the.
head of the queue. That is nothing but a 0th position or starting position. If it's a linked list structure, it will be a head. What's the difference between poll method and peak method?
Whole method will retrieve and it will remove. Whereas in peak method, it only retrieve, it won't delete.
Yeah. And what happens if I perform poll and peak method on an empty queue?
We'll get a null.
Yeah, we don't get an exception. We'll get a null. What is the reason we get a null? I mean, we don't get exception. Why? Because whenever you're deleting, whenever you're calling a poll method, you are removing the 0th element. And then what is happening? Left shift operation. But anytime is your index or element will go beyond the head or beyond 0, like in minus? No, there is no possibility, correct? Hence, it is returning null, not the exception. Okay. Now we also have seen DQ. What is a DQ, guys?
Double-ended queue where you can add an
Adding at first,
delete.
first and
First
last.
and last.
Yeah. So double-ended queue is nothing but you can do the operation from starting and ending. So can I say it's a combination of stack and queue together?
Yes. You can say.
So if I want to add from starting, what method I should use?
Add first.
Last.
Last.
If I
Add
want
last.
to add it,
Add last.
So what is the peak first? Peak first is equal to which method? Poll method in the queue, correct?
Yes.
Peak last is same as which method in the stack? Peak last. Peak method in the stack, correct?
Yeah.
And poll first is equal to which method? Poll first. Poll method in the queue. Poll method in the queue, correct? Poll first means it deletes from the head of the queue. That means starting.
Yeah.
Which method?
Yeah.
So similarly, poll last, it will delete from last. So which method in the stack will do that? Pop method, correct?
Pop method.
Yeah. So double-ended queue is also a interface. So we have seen one class which is implementing this interface, that is called array DQ, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And apart from that, we also started looking at a priority queue. Can someone tell me what is the difference between all other queues and priority queue?
So priority queue will do it in order. It's on ascending by default.
Yeah. So that, yeah. How can you see if this is the priority queue I have added some data. Okay. Now, if I am printing this one, does it mean that it is storing in the same order? Whatever it is printing?
No.
Now, how can I know the order actually? By which method?
Poll.
So that means if you call the poll method first, whatever the element is deleted first, can I say that is stored internally first? Correct? Though you are adding elements in a different fashion, but internally it is following some different one. How it is doing? Internally it is using a comparator, correct? What is the other data structure we have seen which internally uses a comparator? What is the method? We have seen
list.
Does the list uses a comparator? We have seen one method.
Oh yeah.
Collection.sort, correct?
Yeah. Collect. That's what collection dot start. We have to pass list.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. So, but list does not use a comparator, right? Collection dot sort
Correct.
method internally uses a comparator.
Yes.
Yes. So here, if you do not see by default, whenever you call the default constructor of a priority queue, it is we are not passing any comparator. Then whatever the generics that you are using, it looks at the generics and what it is implementing. Is it implementing a comparator or is it implementing a comparable? According to that, it will sort the data. Correct?
Yeah. First, it will check for the priority queue, whatever thing we are passing as a construct. What is the constructor?
Constructor
Right. I mean,
parameter. Yes.
it will check that, then it or else it will go to the generics integer or whatever the department or something. And third thing is it will go to the object comparator.
Yeah. So now let us do department. Okay. Now let me write. So far, does anyone see? Now we are going to look at priority queue. Like see, yesterday by default, all the wrapper classes are following a natural sorting order. Now, if I want to store in the reverse order, then what should I do? I am passing. See, there is one method collections dot reverse order which will give you a return type of this method is comparator. I am passing this comparator to the priority queue, so it will not go to the integer class compare to method. It uses my comparator that I have passed, and it will store the data in a descending order. That means in the priority queue, you can, though it is a queue, you can store the data in whatever the order that you have mentioned. Correct?
Yeah,
So,
but it's the queue. Priority queue is the only data structure in the queue family which will have the sorting order.
yes. Now, I mean, when I say sorting, it depends on your what you are passing. A natural
Okay.
sorting order or ascending or
Yeah,
descending.
that is clear. And does it have internally, it uses anything like a tree or something so that
No, it
yes.
uses a comparator only. Okay, you are talking about an internal data structure.
Yeah, maybe because all the tree only it can sort, right? Or else
No,
it won't.
who said
I'm just
tree?
guessing.
No. Tree is different. See,
Okay.
it is using what it is using?
Object array.
Object array only, correct? Yeah. So see, data structure can be anything, even whether it's a tree or linked list. If you have a comparator, again, whenever you are adding an element, each element, the comparator should execute, correct? Comparator will tell you the logic on how you are storing the data, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now let us quickly add. So this is what we have discussed yesterday. So does anyone has any questions so far?
No, got
And I have asked you guys to implement the queue using an array queue using a linked list. Did you guys try? Or you need more time? Guys, some answer should be there, right? Or you don't want to try at all?
I will try, sir.
Yeah,
Okay, the
fine.
weekends.
Yeah, fine. So guys, I'm not sharing the code, but still you are comfortable in writing, right? See, the reason I'm not sharing the code, see, I'm sharing not on a day basis. Every week or once in a week, I'm sharing the code. The reason is, if you want to try, you will try on your own and you will never forget. You don't need a help of me. See, when these classes are going on, you can ask me the question, but these classes are done. No one, like, you cannot ask me again, right? You can ask me, but you don't get a same response maybe immediately, correct? You'll put a question in the WhatsApp, I'll take some time and they'll do it, right? So that means I want you guys to be self-sufficient instead of waiting for everyone. I'm showing you how am I writing the code, how am I looking at the source data, what is the documentation I'm following. So I want you guys to be do the same thing and self-sufficient. That would be good for yourself. Okay. Anyways, I will share the code, but in the meantime, whenever I'm asking you to practice, please try writing the code on your own. Okay. Now let's write priority queue, which takes the department object, and I will pass any no comparator. Yeah. So now I will add the New department. Department ID is 123. Okay, now let us run the program and see what is the issue. Run as Java application. See? Are you able to see the error? Why the error is coming now? Because what does the priority queue internally uses? See here, if I do not pass anything, what is happening? See from this line, let's comment this code and execute the previous.
The integer comparator will be called.
Yeah, in the
Okay.
integer class, it can implement a comparable or comparator, whatever it is, correct? So it will be called and it knows what is the order it has to store the data, correct? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yeah. But here, now let's debug that also. You will understand. Let's put a breakpoint here.
No, I was thinking it will check. Yesterday I was under the confusion that object as also as a comparator. So I thought it
No,
will take it.
no. The reason, see, the runtime error is coming because object class is not directly implementing comparator or comparable
Comparator. Okay.
interface.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking the other way.
Yeah. So now whenever I say let's go to the integer class, compare to method. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that is the beauty of Java. Whenever you think, right, immediately you write a program quickly and then try check it. So it will be cleared. So that is what I usually do. See here, it is getting called the compare to. Because why? I did not pass any comparator. See, if you look at here, let's remove this now. Let's remove this break pointer. Now, if I look at the code, I have not passed any comparator. So it is going and checking, does the integer class is implementing a comparator or comparable? Yes. Then it will sort the data accordingly. But here, if you look at my data structure here, whatever the data structure I have tried, it is not, see, the department is not implementing neither a comparable or comparator, correct? Now, the compiler is having an ambiguity. What is the order I have to store, correct? So that is the reason you are getting an error. See, from the instantiation itself, see, whenever you are adding a data, see, it is checking whether do you have a comparable or comparator internally. So it does not have. So look at here, shift of comparable.
I do have the other question. The integer, you said it will take the comparator, but out of these two comparable or compare to and compare method, can't we be specific to take one, or is it by default
That is
always
what.
it's compare?
See, if you are passing an argument here, that will be given the priority. Okay. For example, if you are passing a compare, see here in the integer class you have a compare to.
Yeah, it has both, right? Compare to and compare.
No,
Okay.
integer class implements only one comparable. See, what you are implementing, it doesn't matter. You can implement a comparable or comparator. Okay, whatever it is. Okay. As long as you are not passing anything, it will go to this wrapper class. Your wrapper class can implement a comparator or comparable. That logic will be executed. Okay. Now here you are passing see, for example, now let's do here. Let me implement comparator. Okay. Comparator. Now let me department. Okay. Now let's write a compare to method. Okay. Now let's go to integer class. What I will say, O1 dot get department ID, correct? See, that means it is not about a comparator or comparable. If you're not passing any external comparator, it will check what is your class is implementing. And it can
need to put O2, right?
Yeah, yes, you're right. Okay. Now, if I look at here, now let's look at the Q example. Now, if I try to debug, now did I pass any comparator here? If you are passing a comparator means, what does it mean? See, it is calling, see, in the priority queue, how many priority queue constructors are there? Can I say this constructor will be called priority queue followed by comparator? If I am passing a comparator, correct? And internally you are calling another constructor, you are passing this comparator. So then your comparator will be taken into a consideration. Look at here, correct? Is it Bharati the one who asked the question?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So what if you are passing a comparator, that will be given the priority, correct? Now, if you are not passing in this example, did I pass any constructor, comparator or comparable interface here?
No.
No. So then whenever you are creating a constructor, what are you passing here? Null. So that means here, what is the reference of your comparator value? Null. If it is null, then it will look at your class. So in this class, are you implementing a comparator or comparable? You can implement any one. Okay. And generally you don't implement two, because the use of these two is to provide you one order. Both will be providing the same behavior. So you can implement a comparable or a comparator, it doesn't matter. And whatever the logic that you mentioned, it will be executing. Look at here. Let me put a breakpoint here, and then let's execute this code. See here. Let's click F8. Sorry, let me add one more breakpoint in the next line. Yeah. So here it is specifically looking at a comparable. See, comparable super T. Now let's change it to, sorry, comparable. So it is looking for comparable, not the comparator specifically. Now let's change it to add an implemented methods compare to, let's call this compare method here. Okay, I'm making this as a normal method and then I'm calling internally. Now let's debug quickly. Java application. Now let's put a breakpoint in this compare method, compare to method. Okay. Now here I did not pass anything. Okay. Now it will look at the comparator as null. So what it will do? Now it will go to this generics. See, is it calling the department class? It is checking. Is it implementing comparable? Yes. Is it overriding the comparative method? Yes. So that means it is checking this logic and it is storing the data accordingly. Correct? Yes or no? Now, for example, this compare, what is the logic that this compare to is having? Based, it is sorting the data based on the department ID. Later, I want to store the data based on a department name. Now assume that in the department class, there is a department name. Let us create string DEP name. Okay. So will I be getting a requirement, write a program to store the data in the priority queue based on a department name? Will I get a requirement like that in future?
Yes.
We may get, correct? Now at that time, do you change the implementation of a department here compared to method? Here I'm using a department ID. The simple solution, you will say that, sir, instead of department ID, change it to department name. It will work, correct? But if I change like that, what is the problem? Wherever the existing code it is using the department ID comparator, there it will break, correct? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Are you guys understanding what I'm trying to say? Shall I repeat?
Sir, when we are not implementing comparator, then by default it will take the comparable, right?
Yes. So it see, if you are not implementing, it is not. See here, I'm not passing any comparator.
It's
correct?
not passing. Yeah.
So whenever I'm not passing anything, then it will check what is the generics you are passing here? Department, correct? This class, it can be department, it can be employee, it can be anything else, correct?
Yes, yes.
This class should implement a comparable interface.
If
And
you're
in the
not passing, it will take the comparable, it will check comparable. Or
yes,
else we can implement a comparator and we can pass
yes.
the
Now,
construct.
by default, whenever you are writing your class using what do you do? See, whenever you take a standard, you are taking a department or employee. What is the most frequently sorting logic you will be using? Sort by ID, correct? Ascending.
Yes, yes.
Correct. So whatever the classes that you write in your projects, all these classes, wherever you need a order, you will implement a comparable interface. In that compare to method, you will write general ID, correct? General sorting order. That means generally everything will sort by the ID, correct? Because ID is a unique. Okay. Now, and this is the code written by Karthik. Now, for example, you are coming like Mauli, right? Can I call you Mauli? Is
Yes,
it
sir.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you are coming to my project and you are also working. Now you got a requirement saying that you want to store a data into the priority queue department object, but not based on the employee ID. You want to store based on the employee name. If you write like this, will it work? Employee name sorting
No.
order you want to store. Will it work?
No, we have to implement comparator then.
So if you are, so the simplest thing you will say that, sir, I will change this logic, correct? Instead of department ID, you will change it to department name. That will work. But
Yeah,
wherever
yeah.
the Karthik has written the code, this will fail, correct? I mean,
Yes.
this will sort in a different order. That means touching this comparable, predefined comparable code is not the right answer. Am I right?
Yes.
In order to fulfill that, what do? You will write a new comparator, correct? Now let us write that. How do you copy this? DQ1 okay. Now here I want to pass the comparator. Now can I say I can create a new comparator? New comparator. And that means I am creating an anonymous inner class. Look at here. Inside this itself, I am passing the anonymous inner class. Or I can create a class, implement a comparator interface, override the method. Now what is the method I need to do? Return o1 dot get. Let's change the T to department, correct? My object is department. Let's change here also. Now o1 dot get DEP name dot compare to o2 dot get DEP name. That's it. Now can I say, now here I am passing a separate comparator. Now whenever you are adding the data, will it go to your comparable interface compare to method?
No.
No, it will use this comparator, correct? And then it will sort the logic, correct? Now let's add the data name as small a, capital A, small b, capital B. Now, how do I know whether it is sorting the data? Should I print the object here? Or should I poll the object? See, if I print the object, will it give me the sorted order?
No.
It can give any order. That is what we understood, right? Now, how do I know whether it is storing? See, out of all this, if I'm sorting by ascending order of a name, which one should come first? Capital A, correct?
Yes.
If it is a descending order, then small b should come first, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Now let us see. How do I do? Can I say poll method?
Yes, by using poll method.
Yeah. Poll method. Okay. Now, if I what object? See, if I call the poll method, it will it will delete that department object and it will return, correct? But here, in order to see that department object, can I say I have to override the toString method? If not, it will give you com.ashokat. Department followed by some number. Yeah. So what I need to depend here, return DEP name and ID is DEP ID plus DEP name. Correct? Correct? Now let us run this code. Now, let me put a breakpoint here and see from here whether it will go there or not. Right click, debug as Java application. Let's remove this break point. See, I'm calling the name constructor. See, is it going to the compare to method of a department class? No, because it will not go and it will execute whatever the compare to method you are giving here. Okay, you are writing anonymous inner class. Okay, now if I see I'm printing, it is giving you some order, correct? 124, 126. Now, if I do poll, what object is coming, guys? Capital A. That means, can I say capital A is the one first it is inserted? Yes or no?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. I hope you understand now. Molly, I hope you understand, right?
Yes, 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 sir.
So any questions? Bharati, I hope you understood now.
Yes, sir.
So that means, so this will be asked in the interview, right? How this priority, so they may ask you directly like how priority queue is different from other queues, or they'll give you a scenario and they'll say that I want to store this data based on this ID. What is the data structure you will use? You will say priority queue, correct? Because it is taking a queue, comparator internally. Even tree, after this, we'll go for a tree, something, right? Tree data structure also have a constructor which takes a comparator. So knowing the comparator and comparable is must. So why do we use a comparable? By default in your class, in order to see, whenever you have a class, you have some order to generally most frequently used order will be there. So that will be used implemented in the comparable. But if in your requirement, you want a new order to be stored or new order to be retrieved, then what you do? You don't change the code of compare to, it will disturb others code. You have to use a new comparator and then pass it here. So here I have written an anonymous inner class. What is the other way to write this, guys? If you're not comfortable by like writing like this, what is the other way to write this comparator?
Lambda. Separate method, or even you can make it as lambda.
I can write a lambda expression, or I can
Separate
create a
method.
class. I can create a class, implement the comparator, and then override the
Yeah.
comparative method and give the object here, correct? Now, if I have to write a
Yes.
lambda, how can I write a lambda? Like this.
You have to remove the object creation and return and things.
So lambda does not take a method argument. It takes two objects, correct? O1, comma, O2, compare to method, right? And then what is the implementation? O1 dot get department name dot compare to O2 dot get department name, right? Now, do I need to write a return statement? No, my statement is only one line, so I don't need to write. So this is as simple as that. This is another priority queue implementation using Lambda. If you're not comfortable, if you're not aware of Lambda, don't worry, leave about it. But I'm just explaining that you can write different ways of this code. Okay. Okay. Any questions? Yeah. So guys, will you write the queue implementation using an array or and linked list, or shall I go and write it now? I need a response from every one of you. Shall we write the code?
Yes, sir.
I think we can write the code.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Queue implementation using array, correct? So can I say I have to, can I copy the code from the stack, the push till push method? Okay, or let's write. So what is the data structure, guys? Internal data structure whenever implementing queue implementation using an array.
Object array.
Object array.
So how do I write?
Object array.
Null. And where should I initialize this? Inside a constructor, correct?
Inside a
I can have multiple constructors. Okay. Raj, I see your question. I will explain that. Don't worry. Okay. Just let's complete this. If time permits, I will explain today. If not, tomorrow. I see you asked a question like if you implement both, what happens? I'll explain with the coding. Will that be fine? Let's complete this. I hope you are able to hear me, Raj. Yeah, fine, thanks. Now let us add, what is the method I need to first look at it? Push method, right? Public void add. So generally add method or push method, what do? You will take an object, obj. Where do you add the data? Every time. First, 0th index, second, 1 index, third, second index. And if the size is same as a array size, what do?
Increment.
Increment. How do you increment?
Index.
Equal to, index equal to array length. Then you will create a new size. And then you will copy the data from old array to the new array. Can I copy this method quickly? There is no change for this, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's a stack or queue, you are following the same thing. But there are some add first method, add last method that we will do later. Okay. General add method will be this one. Okay. Now, so this is a push method. Okay. Now, you guys tell me what does a peak. Now let us implement a peak method. What is the return type of a peak method, guys?
Void.
Okay. Object. It is not void.
Oh, sorry.
Peak
Object.
method is returning object. Does the peak method takes anything?
No.
No. If I am calling the peak method on an empty queue, how do I know if the queue is empty?
Null.
What null I can check? How do I know here it's an data structure is array?
Last.
A dot length equal to 0, correct? If the internal data structure length is 0, then can I say that you did not add any element?
Yes.
So now we are not returning exception, correct? In the predefined data structure, return null. Done. Else, how do I see? Whenever I say peak method in the queue, what it is returning?
Object.
Yeah, it returns an object. Which object it will return?
First.
Okay. So how do I do what code I should write here?
Linked list.
Index of 0, right?
A dot index of internally 0. Correct. So Harish, it is not a linked list implementation. It's a queue implementation using an array. So in array, first element is nothing but a 0th index. Correct. Yeah. Now can I say this is my peak implementation? Yes. Now let's copy this method and then write poll. What does the poll method will do, guys?
Retrieve and delete.
So in order to retrieve, instead of writing the same code again, correct? Same code it will do, correct? So
Yeah.
can I call the peak method internally?
Yes.
Peak method is returning an object, correct? I will store that object obj. Okay, done. But what I'll do, return obj, done. But here, what is this? If I write this code, I'm just getting the 0th element. But am I deleting?
No.
Now, in order to delete, what should I do?
Decrement the index.
Okay. Any other answer? In the array, list,
OBJ of index minus minus.
Okay. That is the reason I am asking you guys to practice once. Here, the internal data structure is what? Array. From the array, you are deleting 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. If I am deleting this element, do you do obj of index minus minus, or what do you do generally? In the array, how does the remove method will work?
We will
Array
do
list.
array copy. Array copy.
When do you do go for array copy? Before that, there is something, right?
Array. copy is what I can recollect.
Yeah. Any other answers? Anyone?
We need to iterate. We need to, in the for loop, then we need to assign to the 0. Using the temp variable, we need to assign it.
Okay.
That is for
Anyone?
linked list.
It will
Yeah.
shift, it will shift
We need to
everything.
shift everything forward.
So my question is simple, guys. In the array list, how does the remove method work? We have written custom array list, right? What is the
Yeah,
implementation that we have written?
the shift we have to do, right? I mean, the number of array list. If you want to remove, we have to do the shift, correct?
Yes, I'm right. I'm asking you, instead of speaking, tell me the code. I will write here. So I want to do remove of, see, this is my array list. Okay.
Okay,
Now,
okay.
can I say
So-
poll method is nothing but remove of 0 only?
Yeah, so what you have to do is you have to return the first element that we have already done,
Hmm.
and we have to reduce one and copy the array minus one something. I don't like.
Okay, fine. Others, anyone? How does the remove method works of a array list?
The index operation minus one plus, I mean, number of shift is what I can recollect, sir.
Yeah, that is the reason I'm asking you to write at least once so that this problem will not be there. Okay. So first you need to say here, remove method of array list takes an integer. You can provide an index, you can delete 0th index or first index. But here, can I say, whenever you are calling a poll method, what is the index to be deleted?
Zero.
Always 0, correct? Done. Now, how do you do? What is the number of shift operations you need to get first? I'm not
Correct.
writing
Yeah,
something
the
new. Equal
length
to
minus one plus size.
length minus index to be deleted minus
Plus-
1.
Minus
Oh,
one.
minus one. Yeah. Minus
Yeah.
one. Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
This is
if
the
this
correct.
number of shift operations is greater than 0, you
Zero.
need to do the left shift operation, correct?
Correct. Correct.
Now, here, if you are deleting this one, this will go. The simple answer is, if you are deleting this, you have to do the left shift operation. This is what I have to,
Correct.
I'm continuously talking, right?
Yeah. I think you're right. This has been discussed multiple times.
Yeah. So that is what I'm asking. Spend 30 minutes and then write the code on your own. You will never forget. Okay. So in order to copy, I can use a for loop and then copy the data till here. Or another way, simple way is system dot array copy.
Yeah.
And
Not
then I have
array
to
star.
use the or. Yeah.
Yeah. This
So
is array list.
this one, yes, index to be deleted plus 1 to, again, this is an array and index to be deleted and number of shift operations, correct? Done. After this, what should I do? A of minus.
Decrement the index.
Yeah, if I don't do it, there will be a
Always.
blank space,
Yeah.
correct? Yeah. So can I say this is my implementation of a poll method?
Yeah. I
The
think
poll
the same
method
way you
is
can do for
same as remove of 0. Remove of 0 in array list, correct?
yeah. Poll first is also the same logic, right? Is it somewhat
No.
different?
So what you can do is, see, poll first is same as a poll method. Poll last is nothing but a pop method. Now you already see, in order to implement that, what you can do? Can you club, see, after, see, I have implemented poll, I have implemented peak, I have implemented push. Now, can I say, let's write here. Poll first, what does it mean? Poll method in queue, correct? Poll last, what does it mean? Pop method in stack. Now, let's peak first. What does it mean? Peak method in queue, correct? Peak last. Peak method in stack. Now, So can I say I have implemented the queue using an array? I have implemented a stack using an array. Do you know method, all the methods now? Method names are different, but do you have the methods in each classes already?
Yes.
Yeah. What I need to do, if I have to create a DQ on my own, I want to create a custom DQ. How do I do? Can I say I have to club this? See, you copy the poll method from the queue and then name it as a poll first. You copy the pop method from the stack and name it as a poll last. Copy the peak method from queue and copy it as, name it as a peak first and then peak last, correct? Am I right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
similarly, we can implement add first, add last also, right?
Yeah.
Any questions on this custom queue using an array?
No, it's clear. It's very clear. The only thing we can't recollect the system.array copy.
Yeah, so that you can do once you write it.
Yeah. I think these are all good. I mean, patterns and we can visualize and practice.
So the only thing is if you practice, I can guarantee that you will never forget. See here, I've been teaching, right? So I know how I'm writing each line of code. What is the significance of each line of a code? That is the reason I'm writing the code from scratch. I'm not copying from somewhere and then showing you, right? So just you also try in that way. Okay. Now, shall we go ahead and implement a queue using a linked list?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Queue using linked list. Now, what is the internal data structure?
No,
What does a node will contain?
contains the element data as well as the next node.
Node next. Okay,
You
and
want to
I
do
should
the
create a
previous
constructor.
you want to do the previous or the while loop?
You have to tell that. I can
think
write
we'll do
any
the
code,
while.
right? I can
We
write
can
any
write the
code.
while loop first and then
Yeah.
because both are same kind of, but
See, that is what I can write. See, I have already written. Writing here does not make me a problem,
Yeah.
right? But if you try it, see, I'm always insisting. See, throughout this course, anyways, I will write all the code. Whether even in the class also, I am telling whether you practice or not. I am going to explain. That is my job, correct? I want you guys to write it, and you will get so many questions. Now, just now, Raj asked one question. What happens if I am implementing comparator and comparable in one class, and then how it will work? So that's a good question, right? If you practice, if you write, then only these kind of questions will be coming, right? So that is only my intention, guys. Don't take me wrong. Okay. Now I have to have one head pointer, correct? Node head. Okay. Now if I have to write a push method, public void push. Push method takes an object, right? Object obj. So now can someone tell me what should I do? Whenever I'm calling a push method, what is the first step I need to do in the linked list?
To check the head. whether it is-
head.
Okay,
Yeah,
before
to-
that,
you have to assign that object to a temp or something.
Address.
the first thing I need to do is I need to create a node object first, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. And then if head equal to null, and then I have to assign head equal to n. From the second element onwards, what should I do? So these are
Iterate,
this will,
the
yeah.
temp store it and iterate in the while loop and next in the loop.
While temp dot next not equal to null. Okay. Now what should I do? Temp equal to temp dot next. So that I'm going into the next variable. Why am I assigning temp dot next equal to same variable? Why not different variable? If you are assigning it to a different variable, your while loop, it will go into infinite, right? So since you are putting a while loop, you wanted to reuse it. Okay. Now at the end, temp dot next equal to n. This is my push method, right? Now if I have to write a peek method, what does the peek method will return? Public void object. Peek method returns an object. Peek. Okay. So peek method always returns the first element or head of the element. In the linked list, how do I know which element is first?
Head.
First head. If the head equal to null, that means my linked list is empty. Then I will return null, right? Else I will return head dot data, correct? Can I say this is my peek method? Does everyone agree?
Yeah.
Okay, now let's go for pop. So should I call it as a pop or poll? Poll, correct? In Cube, we have a method called poll, right? And it will delete the first element. First element means, can I say I'm deleting the head element?
Yes.
Yeah.
Deleting the head element means what happens?
It first.
You have to have the reference change from the new node to the head and
So here, if you
then
look at the linked list, we are, see here, this is a linked list. Whenever we are trying to understand the linked list remove method, we remove the element at last, we remove the element at first, remove the element in middle also. So poll method is nothing but removing a head element, correct?
yep.
Now, whenever you are removing, for example, this is the head, 10, 20, 30, 40. So I have to make this as a head, correct? And this
Correct.
reference has to null. Now, first of all, I will take no. So how do I get
10
20 address? 10 dot
10 dot
next.
next.
I will take
Equal to
10 dot next will give you 20. That I will put it
Correct.
in some temp variable, temp1, correct? Done. Now after that, head equal to temp, correct? Now, if I say head equal to temp means what? So or else. So what I will do before doing this, head dot next equal to, now I have to do 10 dot next equal to null, correct? If I make like this, can I say I have removed this link? Yes. Now I have to make this as a head. How do I know that? Head equal to, how do I get this address? Already I have taken this address and kept it one variable called temp1. Temp1, done. This has become a head, done. Now later I want to run, I want to make this as a null also, or even if you are keeping empty also, that's fine, right? Yes or no?
we have to return also, right? Return the term.
Yes. So return is already there. Yeah. I'm
Okay.
calling the inside a poll, as I'm calling a peek, that will give you the head dot data. Now I have to remove the head, correct? Now if
Yeah.
so head equal to null is already covered. That means
Yep.
now what should I do? Node
Dot.
temp equal to head dot next, right? Done. Here I will not get a null pointer exception if the head is null, because that is getting handled here. See, I am calling the peek method. If the head is null, it will return null. It will not come into the line number 37, correct? Now after that, head dot next equal to null, and then head equal to temp. Done. Can I say this is my poll method implementation?
Yeah.
So earlier, in order to just to write add method or deleting a head in a linked list or deleting a last element in a linked list itself, we have taken one class, correct? And writing a array list add method one class, remove method one class, get method one class, right? So, but in a single class, you are able to see we have implemented both, right? Within 15 minutes of time, we have implemented a queue using an array, queue using a linked list, right? So if you are good at basics, these things you can write on your own. So now, if I want to implement a DQ, what should I do? DQ using array, DQ using linked list also I can do. That means, can I say that I have to club the stack code and queue code and write one more class and modify the method names?
Yeah, you have to include the last or
Add last method, add
who's-
first method. Yes. Yeah. That is add, if it is a linked list, add last by default, add method will be working as a add last only. Correct? Add
Mhm.
first means, can I say you are adding before head?
Yeah.
Add first means, what does it mean? You are adding a data before head, correct? Do we know how to write the code? How to add a node before the head?
Is it using array or linked list?
Linked list. I am talking
Okay.
about head. In the linked list only head terminology will be used, right?
Yeah, just now we saw, right? I mean, we have to reference that and remove it and do it.
That is a changing the head. I'm saying that I want to add a node before. See, this is you are removing a head, correct? But
Mhm,
my
mhm.
question is, you want to implement add first. Add first means what? You are adding a node before the head,
You are,
correct?
yeah, you have to have the head to the new element to be the head and the head to reference the remote. I mean, to chain it accordingly.
Yeah. So did we write this code already in the linked list? Adding a
Yes.
node before the head. Yeah, we have done.
Yes.
So,
Yes, we
so
have done.
when, yeah. So can you try the DQ implementation using an array, DQ implementation using a linked list? By Monday?
Yeah, I think we should be doing that.
Yes,
We can do it.
we can do.
So I hope everyone, from everyone, I expect answers in the WhatsApp, guys. It's for yourself only. If you write, see, if you write something, will it be a beneficial for me? I don't get anything, correct? It will be a good for you only. Just spend 15 minutes. You keep a clock. You don't spend more than 15 minutes, right? See, I just started this implementation at 8 o'clock. I thought will be late implementation, but you guys have responded well and I was able to write. You already know it, everything. You just, you have to come out of your safety and spend 10 minutes or 15 minutes of time and then write. Okay. So you can implement a DQ using an array, DQ using a linked list within 30 minutes, guys. Just challenge yourself and then write. You don't even write in a Eclipse also. If you get a pen and paper, you write on that also, not a problem. But do it. It will be good for yourself. Okay. Will that be fine? The homework?
Yeah, it's fine, sir.
Yeah. So what about others?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like whatever you have not practiced, leave about it. That's gone. So now if you practice this DQ using an array, DQ using a linked list, you will get to know what is a stack, what is a queue, what is a linked list, what is an array list. That means whatever you have learned so far, you are going to implement it. So just please do it. Okay. Now in
Yeah,
the
but
next class,
fundamentally, we have to do it thorough in that also in order to think through and do this.
yes. That is the reason from starting onwards, I keep on saying that to practice. So I know that everyone is a working professional, but if you honestly think about yourself, can't we get a 30 minutes of time in a day? However, the busy you are, correct? Agree with me, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we just come out of the safety, I mean, what you call, see, if you practice, that is what I've been saying, I've said in the previous classes also. As per psychology, if you practice for what you call 21 days, whatever you want to do it for 21 days, and then automatically it will be habituated. See, for me also, like every day I'll get up at 5 o'clock and I know all of this code very well, but still I will practice before the class for you, because whenever I'm explaining, I should explain in such a way that you are able to understand and why am I writing the each line of code. That is my way of explanation. So in order to do that, though I know all this, like this is the 8th batch or 9th batch I am teaching on this one, and these are the things I have writing from so long, but still every day I will get up at 5 and I'm writing once before the class, right? So it does not mean that I do not want to showcase that I get up at it, but I want you guys to do it, because that is the purpose you have joined for this course. So it is not a motivational class, but I am just reminding you. Okay, fine. So if no question, that's all today, guys. And we do not have a class tomorrow. We might have a class next week. And we'll try to close this class by 26th of July. So the leftover topics is stack implementation using Q. Now we know Q, we know stack. Now we will write stack implementation using Q, Q implementation using stack. This we will do in the next class, which is on Monday. And after that, we'll get into a tree topic. So in the tree, we'll create how to create a tree structure, what is a in order, what is a pre-order, what is a post-order. And before that, I'm going to explain what is a recursive programming. In Java, whenever say recursive, everyone will say that calling the method, same method again and again. But if you debug the code, suddenly it will come out of the loop and something will happen. Many people don't understand. So first I'm going to explain what is a recursive programming. And then we are going to see in order, pre-order, post-order. Post that we are going to see tree set. Internally, the tree will be used in the tree set and tree map. So once you know the tree set and tree map will be easy. So we're going to look at the tree set and tree map. Beyond, after that, we are going to see some HackerRank questions, which I have mentioned in the course itself. And then we will, when I say HackerRank questions, and maybe in the from next week onwards, I'm posting the questions in the chat, the programming questions, and you have to tell me what is the answer. And in the class also, live HackerRank questions we are going to solve. Some, not many, some, whatever I have promised. And then at the end, we are going to see the interview question and answers. So by 26th, we are going to complete these collections. And from 26th onwards, we'll get started with the data structures topic. I know some of you have joined for only collections, but you can continue the data structures classes also, the demo classes. And if you are interested, you can enroll for the data structures. When I say data structures means, we are going to cover sorting, searching, complex time complexity, space complexity, graph, dynamic programming, pattern matching, pattern printing, and there are 30 to 40, maybe more than that, around 50 questions we are going to solve in the HackerRank. All those are based on a trees, linked list, graph, sorting, general questions like LCM, GCD, how can I do, etc. Okay. Any questions, guys? Anyone?
No, sir.
Yeah. So if no question, that's all for today, guys. So the next class is on Monday, and next week we might have a class on Saturday or Sunday. I will let you know in maybe in the next week. I'll let you know based on the progress that we are doing. Okay. Yeah. But since we are coming end of the course, please prepare well, and then prepare start from now, and then so that you can answer the interview questions whenever I ask. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thanks for joining. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you.